Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And welcome back to Tampa, where the clouds enveloping the stadium here, and we expect some bad weather coming in about an hour and a half. What does a coach do when they think that they may have some bad weather coming in, Coach?
Well, every defensive coach in the league is praying for weather like this, wind, rain, possibly. But you do have to account for it in the game plan. It's going to be tough to get a ball high and down the field.
Buccaneers won the toss. They defer, and they will get the ball at the start of the second half. So Matt Bryant will start the game and kick to Courtney Roby, standing on the goal line, and this game is underway. And Roby running up, runs into a teammate, and it's Robert Meacham who gets the ball. And not a smooth beginning at all for the Saints on the kickoff, and they bring it back just shy of the 20-yard line. So Drew Brees, who had 4 touchdown passes on Monday night against the Green Bay Packers, brings out this Saints offense, and Brees has many weapons, but everyone will tell you he is the main cog. Darian Barnes will start for the injured Mike Carney at fullback.
Well, in this offense, we talked about Colston, Shockey back, Reggie Bush back, McAllister. They've got their full complement of players.
And Pierre Thomas is in the game, and on the first pass is to Reggie Bush, knocked out of bounds right there. So Bush getting back into action after missing 4 games with the injured knee. And now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive unit, still their trademark. They have allowed an average of only 11 points per game at home this season.
Undefeated at home, Dick, and the same cast of characters. Barrett Ruud quietly having a Pro Bowl season, leads this team in tackles for the 2nd year in a row. They get their strong safety, Jermaine Phillips, back from breaking his arm a few weeks back.
They mark the ball at the 21, and Brees going to the air, and the pass is caught by Jeremy Shockey, and the Saints tight end will get a first down to the 30-yard line as we check in with Laura Oakman.
Thanks, Dick. I talked to Reggie Bush this morning. He told me he feels great. He participated in his first full week of practice, but there was no contact, so he said he was anxious to find out 2 things: how his knee would respond after taking his first hit and making his first cut. Sean Payton said he wants to get him involved early, needs to see how that knee looks. He will returning punts as long as it's good field position as well.
And of course, every week he said he'd be coming back, and finally he did. And the swing pass to Lance Moore, who had a couple of touchdown catches on Monday night and a gain of about 1 yard, bringing up second down.
Well, Baldy, it looks like obviously Drew Brees wants to get the ball out of his hand quickly. We've already seen some no-back offense, and they're testing the Tampa Bay defense with a lot, what I would imagine be a bit of this no-back offense.
Well, I think they can go empty. That means, just put the offensive line up there to protect him, because they have such confidence that he gets the ball out of his hands so quickly that even if you get pressure, the ball is gone.
Second down and 8. Got to have a lot of confidence if you're John Gruden in your defense, allowing the Saints to get the ball. Deep drop this time for Brees, who has time, and he completes to the tight end, Billy Miller. And Miller is stopped, appears to be a half a yard short of the first down by the veteran Derek Brooks.
Now, Drew Brees has gone to the short passing game, as you mentioned, Coach. The thing that beat this team, beat Tampa in week 1, was 3 long touchdown passes by Drew Brees. Now, Tampa has not allowed 3 touchdown passes in a game since. They feel they've tightened that up. Right now, as long as they can keep tackling the catch and keep it underneath them, I think they'll feel like they're doing their job.
But he's going to keep his eye downfield. If a deep pass presents itself, Drew Brees is going to take it.
Third down and 1, and the handoff is to Pierre Thomas, and he will get the first down. And the Saints bring it up to the 42-yard line, and Pierre Thomas, who really has been a godsend at running back with Bush out and Deuce McAllister limited. And he showed what he could do, Baldy, last year at the end of the season against the Bears.
Well, he was a free agent pickup from the University of Illinois. He actually kept Rashard Mendenhall off the field his junior year. He went on becoming a first-round pick of Pittsburgh because he was so good. He beat out a 4th-round pick, Antonio Pittman, a year ago. Excellent in the receiving game as well.
First down on the 41 as Bush and Colston line up wide to the left. And the quick pass to Reggie Bush. And Bush driving toward midfield and does not get out of bounds. And it's Jermaine Phillips who is starting after being inactive the last 3 games with a broken forearm. And it'll be Just short yardage coming up for the Saints.
Now, we've seen 3 of these little quick, I won't call it a wide screen, but a quick little bubble pass to Reggie Bush or someone out in the slot. What that does to the Tampa Bay defense, it forces you to loosen. You have to get out wider quicker. That could open up the running lanes inside for New Orleans.
2nd down and 3 near midfield. And Breeze pass and incomplete, trying to get it to Colston. And that was one of the rare passes off the mark thrown by Drew Brees. Will bring up 3rd down and 3.
Well, you want to be real careful. Drew Brees there doing a lot of checking at the line. Tampa, it's a bit of a misnomer. The Tampa 2, they're doing a lot more than that, Baldy. We're seeing a lot more pressures, a lot more multiple fronts. And Drew Brees has the experience to try to match up with what he's seeing.
Well, Tampa 2 refers to 2 deep safeties. Tampa doesn't play with 2 deep safeties. Play with 1 most of the time. They really crowd the line of scrimmage. Jermaine Phillips will be coming up here as well on this play.
3rd down and 3 out of the shotgun. And Breeze looking for his 2nd option, and it's Reggie Bush. And Bush will get the 1st down as he gets into Buccaneer territory. And our first penalty of the game.
Holding, offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Left guard Carl Nix, the rookie from Nebraska, nullifies the 5-yard gain and brings the ball back.
Well, it was the hold by Carl Nix here, who's the left guard, that allowed Drew Brees to go 1, 2, 3, come all the way back over here to his 4th option. And, Coach, there's not many quarterbacks in this league that can scan the field sideline to sideline the way that Drew Brees can.
And the fact that he doesn't give up sacks, he does it so quickly. The sacks, the lack of sacks belie the fact of just how quickly he can go through that progression.
He's been sacked only 9 times this season. Great credit to his ability and the offensive line. 3rd down and 13, and being chased by Gaines, Adams, and the pass caught by Colston. And a great catch on the low throw by Drew Brees, and the Saints will have a 1st down inside the Bucs 40 and a gain of 22.
Well, this is just Drew Brees. You can see the pressure coming from both sides. They've got a hat on a hat, but now it just gets hard on the inside. Gaines, Adams chasing down. Drew Brees just instinctively knows to move outside the pocket. He's got gifted receivers down the field. That's a classic Drew Brees play.
And
you
look
better,
at
you
the
better
weather.
Well, you better get those big plays in and points early, because here comes some bad weather that could knock down a lot of those passes.
1st down at the 39, and another pass, this time to Robert Meacham, and he picks up about 8.5 yards. And 6 different receivers have been the target of Drew Brees on this very impressive opening drive.
I tell you, I'm just looking at the defensive line of Tampa exchanging players right now. This is exhausting for defensive linemen, because you start to rush Drew Brees. He gets it out quickly to the flat. Now they're turning to pursue. And it's been 1 pursuit drill coming down the field here to start the game.
Well, Brees 7 of 8 for 59 yards and 6 different receivers. And now a tight formation on 2nd down and 1 with Devery Henderson going in motion. And the handoff is to Pierre Thomas, who is stopped shy of the 1st down back on the 30. Good play by the 35-year-old veteran linebacker Derek Brooks.
Now, this is reminiscent. I did their first game of the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that first drive, New Orleans methodically moved down the field. They did have the 1 big play over the rookie Talib, but this is just what New Orleans wants. Now, Tampa Bay got back into the game. How? Interception on defense for a pick 6. So that's how Tampa wins games.
And a big early 3rd down, and there is Baldy indicating the empty backfield once again for Drew Brees. 3rd down and 1, and the pass broken up, intended for Miller, and Derek Brooks again making the play, bringing up 4th down, and that's what the Buccaneer defense is all about.
Well, this is excellent coverage here by Derek Brooks, and you're going to see Shockey, and here comes Miller right here. They're coming inside. He's just looking at Drew Brees. He knows it's going to be a short pass. It's 3rd and a foot. Perfect job by Brooks coming up behind him right there. And they're going to go for it on 4th down.
And why not? Colston will go up to the top of your picture. Pierre Thomas the tailback, and on an end around, Devery Henderson trapped and knocked back for a loss. And Barrett Ruud. And you heard about John Gruden talking to Pam Oliver on a pregame show. He says, let's learn about Barrett Ruud. We did there, and a loss of 3 yards on the play. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take over on downs.
And those plays are always about whether you make it or not. If you don't make it, it's a bad call. I don't know that a reverse against the speed and tackling ability of this Tampa defense is what you want to run.
And we're back here in Tampa. That's the darkness that we see as the clouds coming on in, and the Buccaneers with their first offensive play. Warrick Dunn gets a couple of yards on the play. So here is Jeff Garcia, 72% completion percentage and a 5-1 record since week 6 after being benched after week 1. And Warrick Dunn picking up 2 yards on first down. We'll give you the rest of the Buccaneers offense. 2nd down and 8. And the handoff to Dunn from the shotgun, and Warrick Dunn brings it out to the 41-yard line, shy by 3. So let's take a look at the Tampa Bay offense. Nothing spectacular, but they get it done. And Dunn now handling the running duties with Ernest Graham out for the year.
And they're thankful that Warrick Dunn is back in his 12th year, putting up just tremendous numbers. The only active player in the league to rush for over 10,000 yards running, over 4,000 yards receiving.
Boy, it's getting dark in a hurry. 3rd down and 2. 3 receivers, trips to the left for Garcia. Instead, he goes short, and not enough yards for the first down, and a fumble as Jonathan Vilma knocks the ball away and picks it off. Jonathan Vilma with the turnover, a costly one for the Buccaneers on the pass intended for Michael Clayton.
Well, Jonathan Vilma, this is exactly what he was brought in to do because of his athleticism, Baldy.
Yep.
Jonathan Vilma, they were a big physical linebacking core. They brought in Jonathan Vilma. He's an excellent athlete, and here you can see he jumps on it and just physically takes the ball away from Michael Clayton.
That's a good call, and he just pulled it right out. You know, he got secure from the other linebacker right there. He pulled it out, and he gets the ball right back to New Orleans after giving it up on the previous 4th down.
2nd interception of the year for Vilma, so now the Saints are back at it on the 34, 1st down, and here's Pierre Thomas with the short gain. So the Saints, who had a 12-play drive, they failed on 4th down, used up nearly 6.5 minutes, have the ball back and pick up 3 yards on 1st down.
And it's interesting that the Saints, who are 4th in the league in 3rd down conversions, Baldy, and which is obviously a big part of what they're doing, is they've struggled on 3rd and short.
Yeah. Well, they don't. I don't think they have the confidence that Deuce McAllister can go get them that yard, the yard that he used to be able to just get automatically.
Well, there you see the passing matchup between the Saints and the Buccaneers. 2nd down and 7. And Drew Brees getting some pressure, but the pass is caught by Reggie Bush, and he is upended close to 1st down yardage. And right now, let's check in with Kurt Menefee and our first game break of the day.
Giants and Redskins, and everyone knows that Plexico Burress is out after shooting himself in the leg, so it's the other wide receiver, the dependable Amani Toomer, scoring on the Giants' opening possession from 40 yards out. They lead the Skins 7-0, just like that. Dick Boney and Brian Billick.
You know, Kurt, everybody here in Tampa remembers Amani Toomer in that playoff game last year, what a big factor he was.
3rd down and 1, and the pitch to Reggie Bush, trying to get it from outside, and he won't get it. Knocked out of bounds by Rondé Barber. So Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber in their mid-30s making key defensive plays, and that will bring up 4th down once again.
Well, Baldy, you're exactly right. Here again, first they do a reverse on 3rd and short. Now they're doing a pitch to Reggie Bush on the outside. I think you're exactly right. I don't think they have confidence to just go north and south and try to get. Now, I know this is a good Tampa Bay defense, but at some point you got to play smash ball to get a 1st down.
You got to go right at this Tampa defense. The strength is their speed, running you to the sideline, and twice now in short yardage they've stopped.
Garrett Hartley will attempt a 47-yard field goal, and I believe it is into the wind here. Hartley with the kick, and it is good. So Hartley, who's 7 for 7 since joining the Saints puts New Orleans on the scoreboard first. Everyone knew about the weather forecast. Certainly John Gruden did, and it looks like that he is in the garb for some rain. He's got a hood on that jacket as the clouds continue to converge here in Tampa. And that's what happens here in Florida. You get the thunderstorms, sometimes a tornado or a hurricane.
Well, I've not done a game in a tornado before, and that's the warnings that are out there today.
4 plays, 6 yards, and the 47-yard field goal. And so here come the Buccaneers. And Clifton Smith, who's returned a punt and a kickoff for touchdowns for Tampa Bay, brings this one out to the 22, where Josh Savage brings him down. We'll take a timeout. Saints lead the Bucs 3-0. And welcome back to Tampa, where the Saints are in front 3-0. Dick Stockton, coach Brian Billick, and Baldy. Brian Baldinger with you. Laura Oakman down on the field as the Bucs will start from the 22. Joey Galloway is into the game at wide receiver and shifting to the top of your picture. Play action for Garcia on first down, and going underneath to John Gilmore, his tight end, and a gain of 7 yards. Let's take a look at the Saints defense going in, as you guys have mentioned, really wary of the big play, which has been the nemesis against this team.
It has, and fortunately for New Orleans, Tampa Bay has not been a big play team. The first game, they got a lot of pressure with their front four, just the front four, Baldy. I don't know that since that first game they've been able to sustain that.
Well, they play a lot different in the Dome in New Orleans than they do on the road. The stats say they're half as effective on the road as they are inside the Dome in New Orleans.
2nd and 3, and the rain has begun. And Garcia has the pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Cedric Ellis, and let's quickly send it down to Laura Oakman.
Dick, I'm glad you said it's raining, because I was listening to you guys during the break saying it isn't raining, and as somebody standing on the sideline with her hood up now and getting pretty wet, I know how I look because players are telling me my hair's already getting pretty messy. I can tell you it's starting to be kind of a mess down here, and no one's going to feel that more than the kickers. Matt Bryant telling me this wind's going to be the worst, swirling and gusting. He can't tell what direction it's coming from.
All right, Laura, stay dry. 3rd down and 3. And again, play action on the rollout. This is where Garcia is effective, but he has no receivers, but will run for the first down. Jeff Garcia gets to the 35-yard line, getting 7 yards for the Buccaneers with under 4.5 to go in the first.
Well, this is the hallmark of Jeff Garcia, that he can always extend a play if things aren't there. It's a bootleg. You see him covering Michael Clayton across the field. Now he stays alive. And as a defender, it's so difficult. Do I play the pass or do I go after the quarterback? And he puts you in no man's land so many times. A lot of his big plays come on scrambles just like that.
First down at the 35, Warwick Dunn. Second tour of duty with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dunn cutting upfield, and a good game by Warwick Dunn, picking up 9 yards. B.J. Askew, the fullback, setting a good block for Dunn.
In talking to John Gruden on Friday about Warwick Dunn, I mean, here's a guy that obviously was a big part of Tampa's success with Tony Dungy, went to Atlanta, and when he got an opportunity to get Warwick Dunn back here in this offense, and thank goodness he's here with Ernest Graham out, he did not hesitate at all to get him.
Some fancy shifting done by the Buccaneers. They have 2nd down and 1, and the pass is to Antonio Bryant. The leading receiver for the Bucs does not get out of bounds, but does get a Tampa Bay first down. Shanley defending downfield, and a gain of 12.
And this is a vintage John Gruden series, because we've seen multiple personnel, multiple formations. He's going to prod, push. He's going to find out exactly what New Orleans' defensive plan is in this first series or two with his scripted openers and testing how are you going to play my personnel and formation groupings.
First down on the 44 of the Saints. Undefeated at home are the Buccaneers. Saints have won only 1 game on the road. And there is Garcia, and his receiver falls down, Antonio Bryant. And defending downfield was Jason David, who had 2 interceptions last week on Monday night. You see the rain falling. Time for a game break. Kurt Menefee.
Of course, the Bucs battling Carolina for first place in the South. Carolina at Green Bay today, and here's D'Angelo Williams goes in from a yard out. His 5th straight game with a rushing touchdown, and it's a 7-0 Carolina lead. Back to Dick Baldy and Brian Billick.
All right, Kurt, thank you. And of course, the Panthers tied with the Bucs at 8-3, but the Bucs control their own destiny, have the edge in all of the tiebreakers right now. 2nd down and 10, and a timeout called as the rain has really picked up, and you can see that. We'll be back. Bucs call a timeout, and you can see the rain picking up, and we've already seen it affect this game.
Well, and if indeed this persists, the opportunity that New Orleans had on a long drive and then a turnover to only come away with 3 is a huge missed opportunity for New Orleans.
Thank goodness John Gruden has his chart laminated all the time.
2nd down and 10, and the pitch going to Warwick Dunn. And he slips. So we've already seen, Baldy, a receiver slip downfield.
Well, I mean, look, Dick, I mean, we saw Antonio Bryant slip. We just saw Warwick Dunn slip. And so John Gruden right now on that sheet, he's got to start thinking about calling plays with that in mind. You get a running back out on a toss crack right there. You know, can the running back have his footing underneath him to make that necessary cut?
There you see keeping the footballs as clean as they can. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Flag is down, and this pass is caught by Jeremy Stevens. And Stevens appears to be a little shy of the 1st down at the 35, pending the penalty. Jerome Boger and his crew working this afternoon's game.
Offside. Defense, number 93. That penalty is declined. The result of the play will be 4th down.
Bobby McCray was offside for the Saints. Penalty declined, so it'll be 4th down at the 35.
Odd decision, I think, by John. They could have had 3rd down and 5 versus 4th in looks like less than a yard, Coach. I mean, it's a closer distance, but only 1 down.
Got confidence in his running game.
Well, Cadillac Williams, who came back last week, gets the carry, gets the 1st down inside the 30-yard line. And do they badly need Carnell Williams in the Tampa Bay backfield to back up Warwick Dunn? He gets 7 yards and a 1st down at the 28.
Tell you, it's a luxury to get Cadillac Williams back after being out for 14 months, making his debut back from that knee injury last week against Detroit. When they had the game in balance, they gave it to him 16 times at the end of the game to get him into game condition. And what better way to get him started today than on 4th and a yard.
And John Gruden said if he really produces well and we need him, it'll be huge for this team. Warwick Dunn trying to spin his way for yardage and picks up a couple on 1st down.
And if this weather persists, Baldy, that ability to get downhill, we've already seen New Orleans on this same situation, 3rd and short, have to go outside. Obviously, Sean Payton, by the same rights as John Gruden, has to adjust his game plan in his running style, because right now the only real yards you're going to get are going downhill.
No doubt.
2nd down, and this will be the 11th play of the drive for Jeff Garcia and the Buccaneers. Play action, and Garcia sees some open field, tries to juke his way toward the sticks, and will be stopped about 2.5 yards short of the 1st down, and that will be the last play of the 1st quarter. A 5-yard gain for Garcia as the heavy rains continue in Tampa. That is the end of the 1st quarter. The Saints lead the Bucs 3-0. And we're back in Tampa on a rainy Sunday, and the cheerleaders continue to work. And now you see the shoes on Warwick Dunn will be changed because of the weather, and he's out of there. Clifton Smith, the rookie from Fresno State, who has been spectacular and does a lot of things for the Buccaneers, lines up in the slot to the right on 3rd down and 3. This is the 12th play of the drive, and the pass overthrown, intended for Bryant. So a field goal team comes on here. Jeff Garcia Warwick Dunn and Antonio Bryant. A sparse offense thus far. And Buccaneers will try to tie the game. They have won 3 in a row, Baldy, and they've had to come from behind to win all 3 games.
Well, they were down 17-0 to Detroit. They were down 24-3 to Kansas City. Put themselves in big holes against bad teams, came out of it, but have not been fast starters.
38-yard attempt by Matt Bryant, looking to tie the game. And Bryant's kick is good. So Matt Bryant now 26 of 30, ties the game 3-3 on a 38-yard field goal. Drew Brees getting ready to go back to work with the score tied 3-3. And the scoring drive, 13 plays using up nearly 6 minutes, capped by Matt Bryant's field goal. And Bryant will be kicking off as Courtney Roby and Robert Meacham are both back. And the way they're standing, they don't anticipate a long kickoff here. They're on the 12 and the 5-yard line, and it is not. And Courtney Roby returning and brings it out beyond the 30-yard line to the 33. And that's where the Saints and Reggie Bush taking the field will go to work when we return. Welcome back to Tampa. The rain was heavy, and then it let up, and now it seems to have picked up some more as Drew Brees, who has completed 8 of 10 for 66 yards, brings out the Saints after the 24-yard kickoff return by Roby. Reggie Bush is the tailback, Darian Barnes the fullback. They fake to Bush, and Brees, under big-time pressure, completes to Jeremy Shockey, and now dropped incomplete. So the pass is incomplete, bringing up 2nd down and 10.
Well, both quarterbacks here, Drew Brees, you can see with the gloves on, and looks like Jeff Garcia's done the same thing. We clearly have had enough rain where that's going to affect the grip on the ball, and they're both going to a glove.
That's the damage is already done. Regardless if this rain slows down or stops, the field's going to be wet, the ball's going to be wet for the rest of the day.
And Shockey appeared to catch it, and then he couldn't hold on. It'll affect them as well. 2nd down and another drop. This one by Reggie Bush. So Shockey and Bush dropping back-to-back passes. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
This is a nightmare for a play caller when you have 2 catchable balls to move the ball down the field and both end up on the ground. These 3rd and long calls with the weather, with the field. Sean Payton obviously hoping he can stay out of these 3rd and long calls.
Well, it's got to really benefit the Buccaneers considering what the New Orleans offense is about.
Well, it puts a big hindrance upon Drew Brees and these great receivers in this kind of condition.
3rd down and 10. And movement in the line as Brees started to move in for the center snap.
False start, offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And they call that against the left tackle Jamal Brown, number 70.
And that's one of the subtleties when you're getting to a check system, and clearly Drew Brees was doing some things there. You got your linemen thinking about a lot of things. Those defensive linemen, particularly in Tampa, stunning around. Is my foot right? What's the turf underneath me? There's a lot going on. This can be a problem for if you try to check too much.
3rd down and 15. Brees with a lot of time and got it to the receiver, Lance Moore, off his fingertips, out of bounds. Tough to get it over those defenders, but it's 3 and out for the Saints.
Well, it is tough to get it over the defenders, but he did that. But we're seeing the weather right now is the biggest factor in this game, because Lance Moore, who had a great game on Monday night, that ball went right through his hands. And so it's getting on him quicker, and then there's a slickness to the ball. And on that drive, the weather affected every single play that the Saints had.
Moore with 115 career yards, his best as Pakalak with the punt. Clifton Smith near the sideline will field it and go out of bounds. Early in the 2nd quarter, field goals accounting for the scoring. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, nothing spectacular, but John Gruden somehow gets his team to get it done. Season high 38 points against the Lions in the last outing. And a good blend of running, good rookie in Clifton Smith. And see what they do here against the Saints. Saints' weakness has been their defense, and a first down for the Bucs on their 23. Cadillac Williams, the running back, and he carries, and a good gain by Williams. Nearly 5 yards, stopped by Scott Fujita.
And Baldy, we're seeing right here the difference in approach where Tampa Bay comes out and immediately get downhill.
Yeah.
Take into account the field, and let's see if the Saints defense can hold up against this downhill barrage.
And the no huddle on 2nd down and 6 from the 27. And it's the end around to Antonio Bryant. Breaks a tackle and gets the first down before going out of bounds at about the 40. About a 13-yard pickup, moving the sticks for the Buccaneers.
See, now, defensively, it's hard. Coming back the other way, it's hard to change directions on this kind of field as a defender as well. Caught Will Smith inside the right defensive end that time, trapped him in, got him a soft corner. And Antonio Bryant really didn't have to make anybody miss. Can kind of come around there and pick and choose his way in the yards.
There you see the rushing story, and the Saints at -2, and their receivers are dropping passes, 3 in the last series. And the Buccaneers 54 yards rushing. It's a first down, and rolling out and getting chased from behind, and Garcia running for his life as Bobby McCray trying to get to Garcia from the blind side.
The other thing worth noting, Baldy, and again, it's classic John Gruden, is that was a no huddle in base people that then went to a trick play. And he's going to have a hand of those through the whole game. There's going to be something that he's got something specific in mind that if he thinks he can get to by going no huddle, he can maybe dictate what kind of front or coverage he's going to see to run the play he wants.
2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Garcia 5-1 since coming back as the starter. And the short drop and the pass, and nearly intercepted by Jason David on the pass intended for Ike Hilliard.
Well, here's Ike Hilliard. He's going to run an out against Jason David. You see this ball is not thrown well. It's thrown behind him, and Jason David, who had 2 interceptions on Monday night against Green Bay, 1 return for a touchdown, almost had his 3rd in 2 weeks.
That was a career high with the 2 picks against the Packers. 3rd down, 10. Rain virtually stopped here in Tampa, and stepping up, and the pass is knocked away. Bryant defended by Roman Harper, and they both got there at the same time, and that will bring up 4th down.
That's normally where Jeff Garcia can be at his best, where called climb in the pocket. He's going to drop back. Now he's going to step up, slowly step up, look for the opening. Now keep his head up downfield. Sees Antonio Bryant, running that corner route, and he really can't stop in order to come back to that ball. The footing affected him on coming back to him.
Josh Bidwell to kick for the Buccaneers, and Lance Moore back deep for the Saints. And Moore is going to let this one take a bounce, and it goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Saints get the ball back. We're tied 3-3. Well, the New Orleans Saints coming into this game with the #1 offense in the NFL. They're used to playing in the dome, but they're playing in the rain. Rain may have stopped, but it's a wet field, and their receivers have dropped some footballs already. And Drew Brees, 8 of 13, will start his team from the 27-yard line. Last time the Saints had the ball, 3 of their receivers dropped passes. Pierre Thomas, the setback, and Thomas running up the middle, not for much, thanks to Derek Brooks. Right now, the Saints have managed only 1 yard rushing.
Well, that's why balance is so important. Even if you have a quarterback as hot as Drew Brees has been this year, you better be prepared for games like this when you got to come to the East Coast, in the South here, in torrential downpour that we've had, be able to go to the run game and feature that and execute that.
There you see Brees started 8 for 10 when we had no precipitation, and since then 0 for 3. And Garcia hasn't fared much better than that. 2nd down and 7. 3-3 the score. Brees looking to put it in the air, and wide open up the middle is Marcus Colston. And the Saints will get the first down as Colston crosses the 40 and picks up 11.
And you could see the grin on Drew Brees' face yesterday when we talked about Marcus Colston. Having him back, and he's just now, after missing a big part of the season, getting back into the groove. Drew Brees has a huge amount of faith in Marcus Colston, and in critical situations will look for him.
And he says he's ready for a breakout game at any time. Meanwhile, Savvy Piscatelli has replaced Jermaine Phillips at strong safety. Reggie Bush is in the game, and he gets knocked back. And that speedy Tampa Bay defense led by Ryan Sims making the play in a loss of 5.
Well, watch these guys coming downhill here. You get penetration there right inside initially. And Reggie Bush told us yesterday, it is important for me to get north-south against this defense. If I go to the sidelines, they got the speed to cut me off.
Shaking his head as Reggie Bush, in his first game back after missing 4, has minus yardage. Pass is caught by Reggie Bush. Gets by a defender and lunges forward to the 45. He'll be 5 yards shy of the first down. Cato June, the strong side linebacker, missed him initially.
Well, they just tried to spread the field as much as they could here. And this is still where Reggie Bush is most dangerous. On the perimeter, where he can make people miss, and then the great acceleration. And he's still trying to test himself, coming back from a knee scope of 5 weeks ago. First action back, so he's still trying to feel just what that's like now.
And the Saints will call their first timeout of the first half. Still early in the second quarter, 3-3 the score. So the Saints call their first timeout. The crowd is vocal here on 3rd down and 5. On the New Orleans 45. Miller, the tight end, going in motion to the left. And a flag is down. And Drew Brees may have had a free play as Jeremy Shockey makes the catch, and another penalty marker comes in from upfield. And pending the penalty would be a first down, but the initial indication is a penalty against the Saints.
There's 2 penalties on the play, one initially and then one later on as the play developed.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal shifts, offense, 2 men moving at the snap and not getting set. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
So pushing off and not agreeing with the call is Jeremy Shockey, and they're going to accept that penalty, which will set the ball back to the 35-yard line, bringing up 3rd down and 15.
Well, this worries you as a coach because of the weather, because of the wet ball, the way you're going to have to throw the ball down the field to get the first, that ball getting away from you, we might even see a draw here, although I don't know that that's the way Sean Payton thinks.
3rd down and long, and Brees under great pressure gets it off to Reggie Bush, and Bush is finally stopped 10 yards short of the first down by Rondé Barber after the 5-yard pickup, and a punting situation coming up for the Saints.
What we haven't seen from the New Orleans Saints offense today in any kind of a deep shot, any ball deep down the field, which really beat this Tampa defense week 1 when they threw 3 long touchdown passes.
Len Pakaluk, the rookie from Kentucky, and they're going to adjust the play clock now before the snap. Clifton Smith is back deep from the 20. Smith turning the corner, and Smith is down after the return of 14 yards. You know, it's amazing. Teams prepare for this game, and all of a sudden we get rain, and all of a sudden the conditions are different, and now you got to go to plan B.
Well, both coaches I know are frustrated that they both had opportunities early before the rain or just was hitting to maybe get a touchdown. And in a game like that, that touchdown may make the difference in the game. So they're both frustrated they weren't able to convert that.
And I think going forward, both coaches are nervous as can be about ball security, because it may come down to just that. A loose ball pops out right here in bad field position. That may be the difference in the game.
And usually coaches will tell you that the turnovers are the key factor. First down and 10, and the handoff to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn picks up like 4 yards. Very elusive is Warwick Dunn. And it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Well, right now for Tampa Bay, you alluded to it earlier, Baldy, they're going to have a much more downhill approach. But the advantage they have in the passing game is Jeff Garcia's ability to move around or climb the pocket, as you referred to earlier, to make plays outside of the structure of the offense.
2nd down and 6. The score and all the conditions seem to point to be a benefit for the Buccaneers at this point. But Boley had a good point. Got to watch the turnovers. Warwick Dunn driving forward will be 2 yards shy of the first down. And for a game break, here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, Baldy will like this. Carolina guard Travell Wharton gets a good block against Green Bay. The spring running back Jonathan Stewart. Only problem? Stewart's leaking oil. Runs out of gas. Gets stripped by Charles Woodson, but Wharton recovers the fumble, sets up a Jake Malone 1-yard score, and a 14-3 Carolina lead. Back to Dick Baldy and Coach Billy.
That is that's an all-pro play right there by Travell Wharton, following that play and getting on the ball down there at the 3.
3rd down and 2 from the 42 of Tampa Bay, and Garcia running up, and the pass is broken up. Vilma colliding there with Antonio Bryant, the intended receiver, and 4th down coming up.
Well, 3rd downs in the first game were one of the big things for Tampa Bay. They're currently 1 out of 6 on 3rd down. In the first game, they were 2 out of 12, Baldy. And you've got to get away. You've got to get into those convertible 3rd downs, which that was, and to not come away with it is going to make it a long day for you.
Second big play by Vilma. He got the strip ball that led to a fumble that led to the field goal for for New Orleans, and then that breaking up that pass. 2 big plays for Vilma.
Josh Bidwell will kick, and Lance Moore to return for the Saints. A low line drive kick, but it takes a Tampa Bay roll and will go out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. A big break in a game like this. That is indeed a big break indeed. Well, this January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning with the FedEx Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and the FedEx BCS National Championship game. It's college football's biggest games this January, only on Fox.
And you know who's going to be in that game, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm waiting to hear with bated breath.
They got 6 teams with 1 loss right now in the top 10. Alabama's sitting there undefeated. I don't know how they're going to make a decision.
And how about the computer has to figure out one of the Big 12 representatives to play Missouri?
And Oklahoma can put up 60 against anybody. They did again last night.
How about Oregon against Oregon State putting up 60? First down from the 11-yard line, and Breeze throwing incomplete pass thrown behind Jeremy Shockey.
That was a little miscommunication between Drew Brees and Jeremy Shockey. Drew Brees expected Jeremy Shockey on a quick little mini out route by the tight end to keep going. Shockey pulled up, and that's the kind of miscues that lead to a turnover against this Buck defense.
And that's the kind of miscues you have when you don't go through preseason and you've been injured for 3 weeks and out and not getting the timing you need with your quarterback.
Ball is at the 11-yard line. 2nd down and 10. Inside is 5. Breeze is going deep. Devery Henderson almost made the catch and covered downfield by Rondé Barber. So Breeze taking a shot from inside his 5.
And that's the first shot today, but this is Rondé Barber's specialty here. I mean, he got beat in the first game against New Orleans for a touchdown. Still talking about that, but that is a perfectly played ball where you timed it at the height, you got the ball out of his hands, did not interfere with him, laid off him, and sometimes how you play the ball in the air down the field determines the outcome of these games. 2
interceptions, including a 65-yard return for a touchdown last week for Rondé Barber. It'll be 3rd down and 10, and Breeze, under some pressure, flags are down as he tried to shuffle it out to Reggie Bush.
Holding, offense, number 70. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
They decline the holding penalty by Jamal Brown, and so they're going to have to kick from their end zone.
And this is the kind of field position battle game that Tampa loves with their defense. You don't anticipate it coming into play as much against the #1 offense in the league in New Orleans Saints. But right now with the punt, 3 and out, Tampa's in great shape.
And Clifton Smith back there, who's returned a punt for a touchdown.
Great kick by Pakalak. Beautiful kick, sending Clifton Smith back inside his 20. But look at the return by Clifton Smith. And Baldier right. Punt return for a score, kickoff return for a score, and Roman Harper makes the tackle. A 70-yard punt by Pakalak, and Smith returns it 42 yards.
Sometimes you can just punt the ball too far, because look at the closest wave of players when Clifton Smith gets it. There was a natural hole, alley, for Smith to run through. And this kid has given this team such a lift.
One chance, and that's what it says on the tip of his shoe, which has spurred him on. And of course, what the Buccaneers would like to see him do is hold on to the football, because he's had that problem in the last several weeks. But they'll take that great 42-yard return. And Tampa Bay with a first down on the Saint 39. Warwick Dunn. And he picks up about 2.
I would think in this position, Tampa Bay, you'd very likely see this approach in terms of, we've talked about the downhill approach, whether it's 2 tight ends, 2 back, and let your play action passes come off that. I don't think we're going to see quite as much of the spread formation you normally see with John Gruden.
Well, they're not getting the separation, the receivers against the defensive players right now, where Garcia has a clear target to throw to.
2 tight ends in there, and Jeremy Stevens and John Gilmore. 2nd down and 8. Garcia under pressure, and he just wants to hold on to the ball and not lose it. And Scott Shanley, one of the 2 Saints, to get to him. And a loss of 6, the first sack of the game for the Saints. And right now, let's go out to Los Angeles. A game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, after a Giants defensive penalty negated an interception, very next play, the Redskins on the reverse to the rookie, Devin Thomas. He gets his first NFL touchdown from 29 yards out. It's a 13-7 game. But Dick Boldy and Coach Billick, the Redskins are without Clinton Portis, who had to leave with a neck injury, and his return right now is questionable.
Big force for the Redskins against the Giants, who right now are the #1 seed, and the Buccaneers would be the #2 seed right now. And on the screen pass to Jeremy Stevens, and the tight end will bring it to within a couple of yards of the first down. Will Smith, number 91, downfield, makes the play, and a gain of 10.
Interesting call here whether they go for the field goal or not. They're right in that range, but this type of game, it looks like they're thinking about going for it on 4th down, Baldy.
Well, you know what? You're looking at about a 50-yard field goal here. And with Garcia back there with the ability to extend plays, and knowing that maybe a touchdown might separate this whole game if you can hang on to the ball, keep the ball away from Drew Brees, and your defense is playing lights out, I think it's a good gamble.
And he can run for it himself.
Absolutely.
Has that ability. 4th down and 3 on the Saints 33. And here's Garcia, and he's going to run and get the first down inside the 20, inside the 15. And the Buccaneers threatening big time, a 21-yard run by Jeff Garcia.
And this is the thing you can see here again. Baldy, you've talked about, used the term that's very popular now, climbing the pocket. He knew this was an option for himself right here. He's eyeballing where the defense is. It's all about, can I hold on to this ball and get the first, as opposed to what I normally do well, keep my eyes downfield and look for a throw.
Well, he saw Scott Shanley slip. He was kind of eyeballing him, so he's down. He saw some defenders man-to-man coverage with their back to him. So that vision of his when he climbs the pocket, pressures the defense, and those are the type of plays that can make the difference on a field like today.
That was the 3rd longest rush of the season for the Buccaneers. And a first down at the 12. Here's Warwick Dunn diving inside the 10. And you mentioned at the outset, Coach, about how important this game was for the Saints. because if they lose this game, their chance is really slim. They come into this game with 10 teams in the NFC with the same record or better. So this, as you mentioned, a must game for them.
And that's the difference in the mindset. Right now, Tampa's all about winning the division. They're just competing with whoever's the closest home field advantage who's in front of them. New Orleans is competing with the whole half of the league that still is fighting for those playoff spots. So they know this would be tough for them if they cannot pull off a win here in Tampa.
Jeremy Zouton, number 76, is eligible, and it's going to be play action. And Garcia taking off again. And this time he is stopped, Garcia, by Scott Fujita, picking up one.
You know, in talking to Jeff Garcia on Friday, he had a heck of an admission, Coach. He said that in week 1, when he threw an interception at the end of the game against New Orleans and John Gruden benched him for the next 3 weeks, when he went back and watched that game this week in preparation for this game, he said, you know what, I looked slow. I didn't look like myself. And it was true. He missed preseason. He played one preseason game. He had a calf injury. And it really took him to look at that himself to say, you know what, Coach probably made the right decision.
He was benched for 4 games, and then Brian Greasy suffered an injury, and Garcia 5-1 since that time. Timeout called by the Saints, their second.
Now, make no mistake, it did affect the relationship between Jeff Garcia and John Gruden. And John will look at it in terms of, look, he's a professional. He knows what we need to do in terms of evaluating players, whether it's Brett Favre. And Jeff Garcia can intellectually come back and say, you know what, looking at that film now, and I wasn't playing as well, but emotionally, he's still going to, that's going to pull on his heartstring a little bit, but you bailed on me, and I didn't think you should. So they're very professional about it. They've got a great professional relationship, but I don't think they're going to have a beer together when the game's over.
Well, you know, last year there was a love affair between these two. This year, in the second year, it's sort of like, well, I can put up with him. You know, and so Garcia right now knows that the team is leaning on him. He knows that the chance of winning this division, staying undefeated at home, winning a game like today, rests on his ability to be able to rescue plays like he has on this drive.
3rd down and 3. The ball at the 6. Buccaneers have to get inside the 2-yard line, and now Tampa Bay will call their second timeout. And it's been the lot of Garcia, who no one is ever really happy with him, even though he wins. Let's take a look at what his career's been about. Canadian League with the Calgary Stampeders, and then the San Francisco 49ers, and then a downtime with the Cleveland Browns. And the Lions didn't feel that they could use him. And then he was 5-1 with the Philadelphia Eagles, Baldy. And they said, well, we're not going to give you a contract. He winds up in Tampa Bay. And, of course, you heard on the pregame show, Ham Oliver talking to John Gruden about him going after Brett Favre and all of that.
And his whole career, I tried to recruit Jeff Garcia to Stanford when I was at Stanford way back when. And that's been his whole career. We decided to go in another direction, as they say. And he remembered who it was we chose over him to go to Stanford. His whole career, it's been someone telling him, you know what, I don't think you're quite good enough.
Garcia 5 for 12 for 39 yards. Each team has 1 timeout remaining. And here is Garcia being pushed back and chased by McCray. And on the run, pass incomplete, had the open Michael Clayton in the end zone. So 4th down coming up, and the field goal team comes on.
Well, Jeff did exactly what he wanted. Those guys are covered by 3 defenders out here. That was the first look. But he buys time circling back, actually got the opening to Clayton here.
Boy, it's difficult to make any fundamental play in this game because of the weather. And what a hit he took right there. So Matt Bryant looking to give the Buccaneers the lead. This will be a 23-yard field goal attempt. How about 189 out of 190 from that distance? And the kick is good. And the Buccaneers, as the cannons go off here in Tampa, have taken a 6-3 lead over the Saints with 2:34 remaining in the first half. And right now, let's step back and take a look at the NFC battles as we have 5 weeks left, including tonight. The Giants 10-1, the Buccaneers the 2nd seed at 8-3, Arizona 7-5 would be the 3rd seed, and the Bears right now the leaders in the fluctuating NFC North. Right now Carolina and Dallas would have the wild cards, and there are a lot of pretenders, Baldy.
Yeah, you know, the Atlanta Falcons later on today in San Diego trying to keep pace. The Tampa Bay Bucs play 2 more conference division games here in a row, play Carolina next week, and then they play the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. So you'll see these division opponents down the stretch, and around the league, the division games have all been stacked towards the end of the season.
And I think that's great. The worst thing you hate is for the last game of the season and your future is riding on it, or someone else in the division, and you're playing somebody in another conference. You're playing someone that's got nothing to do with your division. The league has made a conscious effort for these last games to be within the division.
And both Tampa Bay field goals have been set up by 4th down conversions. And the kick rolled to Courtney Roby. And Roby trying to go to the outside, upended, and a terrific play made by Elbert Mack. So the Panthers, and they need Jake Delhomme to get going again. And there you see their 2 division games the rest of the way, 1 at home and 1 on the road. And all 4 teams obviously in contention. The Atlanta Falcons are in New Orleans next week, and then we'll host Tampa Bay in week 15. And there are 3 of their stars so far this year.
Could be an advantage for Atlanta, the fact that Tampa Bay is in Atlanta.
First down on the 28. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Breeze went one way and goes down to Jeremy Shockey, who has the first down. So Breeze going from right to left, and Shockey makes the catch, good for 14.
Well, the corner on that side, Aqib Talib, had slipped due to the wet turf and allowed Shockey to be wide open. You'll see 25, well, behind him, he slipped, and so it opened up the window for Shockey.
And the 2-minute warning here in Tampa, with the Buccaneers leading the Saints 6-3. 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
You can see Drew Brees is really upset here. He knew he could buy an extra timeout before the 2-minute warning hit. He wanted to get that play off and buy himself that extra time.
Saints on their own 42. And like the Bucs, have 1 timeout remaining. Brees' pass and nearly intercepted by Rondé Barber. Marcus Colston, great anticipation by the veteran Barber.
Barber loves being the slot defender. When there's 3 or more wide receivers, look at him, get through the traffic. He's reading through the quarterback here to Colston. He's trying to get inside Colston there to get his hands on the ball. Intercepted 2 of them last week. 1 of them for a touchdown, and he almost had 1 there.
Colston's a big receiver.
But Rondé is extremely crafty in that position.
2nd down and 10. Brees stepping up and drills it to Marcus Colston, who makes the catch. A bullet pass from Drew Brees, and the Saints will have a first down at the 21 with 1:42 and the clock running.
And this is the relationship we're talking about with Marcus Colston. Nice move on Rondé Barber. That was a bullet shot under wet conditions by Drew Brees. He is lethal in a 2-minute situation.
37-yard gain, first down at the 21. The Buccaneers leading by 3. And here is Brees, and it's nearly picked off by Derek Brooks, who had great anticipation. Reggie Bush was the intended receiver there.
Boy, Brooks almost had that one. He lost the ball when he dove, but he knew that he made the right read. He jumped the route. And those are the type of plays that this Tampa defense has been known for and have made the difference in.
Brooks and Barber, the veterans, right? They're always there.
They're the pillars that this defense is built around.
2nd down and 10 with 1:19 showing on the clock, and the handoff is to Reggie Bush. Bush getting inside the 20, and he is stopped about 2 yards short of the first down and a fumble. And the Buccaneers indicating they picked it up, but down by contact was Bush. As the clock continues to go, we have a minute now.
Now they've got lots of timeout. They're going to hold that timeout in their back pocket in case they can convert here, because that gives them a whole different range of options in terms of getting into the end zone if they convert on this 3rd down.
Reggie has been out the last 5 weeks. You know, you got to get used to carrying that ball tight to your body and protecting it when you've been out that long.
3rd down and 2, And play action for Drew Brees, and going into the end zone, and the pass is caught by Lance Moore for the touchdown. So that's 3 in 2 games for Lance Moore, a 16-yard pass, and the first touchdown of the game, and the Saints regain the lead.
Well, Lance Moore's going to come across the formation left to right. He's timing it up with the bootleg by Drew Brees. He's just trying to find the opening in the zone. Nice job of just feeling it, stopping it, and allowing Brees to find him, and then just floated the ball over the top.
5th consecutive game with a touchdown reception for Lance Moore, and Garrett Hartley with the extra point. And it's amazing how the weather has been such a factor, because when it rained, the Saints receivers couldn't hold on to the ball. We have negligible rain right now, and they've been able to catch it. Colston, and then Lance Moore for the touchdown. An impressive drive by Drew Brees and the Saints. Well, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
Well, and this is why you love Drew Brees, because for the first basically half, we were talking about what? Tampa's got the advantage. The weather fits there. The defense is playing well. They're being physical. The ball's hard to handle. And here Drew Brees comes out and takes them on what? A 70, 80-yard, 2-minute drive, beautifully orchestrated. And that's the danger when you're playing Drew Brees in this #1 ranked New Orleans Saints offense.
And he threw his best pass of the day down the middle of the field to Marcus Colston for the big chunk. And then the other factor is, Brian, he left 33 seconds on the clock. You know, I mean, he did not leave Tampa much time here at the end to try and probably put together any kind of a drive.
Now, someone will criticize it for clock management, because you shouldn't have left the 33 seconds on the clock.
Well,
so
6 plays, 72 yards, and 2 minutes for that drive to give the Saints the lead, and the kick going into the end zone for the touchback, and the Buccaneers will have it on the 20 with 33 seconds remaining in the first half, and they have 1 timeout left for Jeff Garcia.
Now, a little bit different approach. If this were New Orleans, is there any doubt in your mind, Baldy, that would still see spread, no huddle, try to get in scoring position by New Orleans? I don't know that Tampa, as much faith as they have in Jeff Garcia, will quite take the same approach.
Well, they don't have that type of an offense. They don't have the explosive offense where it's built to throw deep balls. I mean, here we are in a safe formation. They're just going to take a knee and get to the locker room.
You saw the comparison of the quarterbacks, and Brees now 14 of 24 for 155 yards, and he was 3 for 4. The big pass, as you mentioned, to Colston, 37 yards to set up the score. So the Saints, in a game that they must win, they've only won 1 on the road this year, but in front 10-6 at this point.
And we said in the open, the exciting thing for the New Orleans is just in that last drive, we saw Shockey, we saw Marcus Colston, we saw jump off to Reggie Bush, and then the touchdown to Lance Moore. 4 different guys that Drew Brees can go to, and that's a lot of weapons all in one offense.
You know, conversely, on the other side, I mean, Jeff Garcia did get the ball down inside the 5-yard line. They could not score. If they score in that drive, this thing could be 10-10 all knotted up.
What's it like for this team? I know they've come from behind to win 3 in a row, Baldy, but when they fall behind by enough points, they really have to go to a big play.
Well, I mean, right now you don't have to change anything, Dick. I mean, this team has a tremendous amount of poise. They're undefeated at home. They've got leadership everywhere. I'm sure Garcia is putting a lot on himself here, coming out, going into the locker room at halftime saying, I could do a better job of converting some 3rd downs and holding on to the football.
Touchdown pass by Drew Brees was his 23rd of the year, so a bit of a quiet crowd here in Tampa, as the Buccaneers, remember, coming in undefeated at home. They have all the tiebreakers in their favor in a feverish fight in the NFC South, where the home team has prevailed in all of the challenges with all 4 teams in contention.
Now, we're only at half here, okay? But if this should hold and Tampa Bay loses New Orleans, if Atlanta can go down to San Diego, this division is going to be fun to watch going down.
And there are the halftime statistics. Take a look at them, because we're going to commercial. The Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa Halftime Report after these messages. Weather has been a factor in this game, and it was forecast that we were going to have heavy rains, maybe a tornado watch. Well, we had heavy rains indeed, and it affected the play on the field. And the field wet, players slipping. and receivers dropping passes. And that was the mark early on, but the Saints lead by a score of 10-6 right now. And right now, is weather still a factor, Baldy, even though it stopped raining for a while?
I think so. I think once the field gets wet, you're always going to have those kind of conditions. Ball security is always an issue, although that last drive by New Orleans, engineered by Drew Brees, didn't look like he was bothered by any of it.
And coaches will see with that last drive, the quarterback's going to have more confidence gripping the ball. So they're going to be more comfortable in putting the ball down the field. With the rain, the wind has subsided, so we might see more vertical plays down the field.
Well, the Buccaneers are trailing right now, but what's keeping them in the game offensively, at least, Jeff Garcia with his nimble feet.
Well, this is what Jeff Garcia has always been able to bring to any offense that he's been in. Ability to improvise. He's got 5 runs for 32 yards, the longest run of the day, 20 yards by Garcia. Got him in field position for the last field goal.
Well, with Garcia, though, it hasn't translated into a lot of plays down the field. It's kept plays alive, but it hasn't translated to a lot of yards.
Going back to week number 1, when Brees threw 3 touchdown passes and the Saints won the game, and the Buccaneers knew that the big play was did the damage, and the big play again was a factor as Moore caught the touchdown pass, but it was the plays prior to that that the Saints benefited from.
And that is always going to be the difference in the Saints game. Their ability to make the big plays down the field. I mean, that's why they're second in the league in plays of 20 yards than more.
How about these numbers, Baldy?
Well, they're a little skewed. I mean, here's the #1 passing offense in football, #1 offense, but not much rushing yards today from them. And then on this side, the 1 turnover and 1 for 8 on 3rd down. Tampa has not been able to hang on to the ball and really produce long drives because they haven't been able to convert.
The Buccaneers deferred. They won the toss and will get the ball first here in the 3rd quarter. Garrett Hartley will be kicking off, and Clifton Smith, who is activated off the practice squad in week 8 from Fresno State, the undrafted rookie, and what a find he has been for the Buccaneers. Smith will return from the 5. Clifton Smith, and we may have a face mask on the tackle as Smith brings it out to the 39. Lee Torrance chased him down.
Personal foul, tackling by the face mask. Kicking team, number 24. 15-yard penalty after the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
Watch how patient Clifton Smith is. He almost is jogging here, allowing the wedge to set up, waiting to see where the hole is, and then once he sees it, there's the burst. And there's the face mask at the end that gets him an extra 15 yards and really good field position to start.
15 yards tacked on to the 34-yard return by Smith. And the Buccaneers are in Saints territory, first down on the 46. Jeff Garcia, the quarterback, and Warwick Dunn, the running back, and Dunn breaks an opening and gets about 9 yards on first down as we check in with Laura Oakman.
Hello, gentlemen. The coaches said the weather has affected everything. I'd like to tell you the weather has affected everything down here as well. Sean Payton saying, got to get the running game going. Too many penalties, too many negative plays. He says he feels pretty good with this weather. If it holds up, they'll find the balance they're looking for. As John Gruden asked for him, he pretty much summed it up succinctly, saying, hard to run, hard to throw, hard to get anything done. I said, what do you have to do to get the ball moving? And he said, make plays. That's about it.
Laura, what do you mean by everything? The rain's affecting everything.
What do you mean by that? Why are you asking me that?
Well, you said it.
No, I'm curious why you followed up and asked me that. Is that something that I should be worrying about, Dick?
I wouldn't worry about anything, Laura. You're doing a sterling job down there, and we appreciate it. So it's first down on the 36 for the Buccaneers. The opening possession of the 3rd quarter.
I don't know if New Orleans is lined up right. Here's Scott Shanley out here on the tight end. Jeff Garcia may be looking at that matchup.
Garcia, pass is complete, and Michael Clayton with a good catch.
And the reason they do that, Baldy, as you know, is if you can put a tight end outside of a receiver and a linebacker goes with them, that's usually an indicator that it's man. That if it's zoned off, the corner will widen and deepen. And so anytime you see a team motion to it or line up that way, it's a way for the quarterback to say, okay, am I seeing man coverage or zone coverage? Absolutely. And that'll dictate to where he thinks he can go with the ball.
Jeff Garcia has thrown 10 fewer passes than Drew Brees. That's not a surprise. It's been the running game that's going for him, and here is a Cadillac Williams. And Williams to the 32-yard line. No gain on the play early here in the third.
When we started the season with Tampa Bay and New Orleans, John Gruden talked about Cadillac Williams and the progress he was making coming back off the patella injury that he had. And you could tell there was a certain anticipation that he thought if he could get through the 8 weeks of PUP, physically unable to perform, then that 3-week period, he thought this guy could be inserted into my offense at just the right time in the season. This is the time for him to pay off.
3rd down and 6. And Antonio Bryant in motion to the left. And play action. Garcia. And the pass caught after the deflection. It was Antonio Bryant who made the catch after B.J. Askew saw the ball bounce off of him. Good fortune for the Buccaneers. 12 yards and a first down.
I guess you could call it good fortune, Dick, because this looked like another one of the 3rd down miscues by Tampa. You see this ball deflected off B.J. Askew and Antonio Bryant. I don't know if that's a catch. That may be worth challenging.
And we have a no huddle. Because obviously they wanted to get up and run a play before it could be challenged.
And rarely do you see a team get a play off that fast. The Bucs did it right there.
Well, this is what every team in the league has been practicing. When you get a situation that could be reviewed, hurry up and run the play next, so it saves it from that possibility of being challenged.
And of course Bryant had to have control of that ball, and it's a moot point now. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Buccaneers. Carnell Williams is the setback. Garcia will take off and get the first down inside the 10-yard line. Earlier, Garcia with a 21-yard gain, setting up a field goal, and now it'll be first down and goal.
You know, Coach, so often young quarterbacks, obviously Jeff Garcia's a veteran guy, they do not know how to step up into the pocket. It's what Garcia does best. Now, he should learn how to slide too. I know Jeff does. He doesn't need to take those kind of hits as they come down, you know, the stretch here of this season, but he pushes the pocket, he threatens the defense all the time, and he's always keeps the ball alive to throw it.
11-yard pickup there, 1st and goal, and here is Cadillac Williams going outside to the 5, going in, and it's a touchdown for the Buccaneers. Welcome back, Cadillac Williams. 14 months on the sideline, scores a 8-yard touchdown run.
And I can tell you, as a guy that's been through a year-long rehabilitation, this is when you know you're back. When you can turn a corner like this, smell that goal line, get it across there in a division game of this importance. That is such a great feeling after all those long drudgery hours of rehabilitation and self-doubt that creeps in during that 14-month period.
Matt Bryant for the extra point. And less than 5 minutes into this third quarter, Carnell Williams with a touchdown, and the Bucs regain the lead, 13-10. And we're back here in Tampa, and it's the brightest it's been since the start of this game. Actually may see a little sunlight above. And the scoring drive for the Buccaneers, they went 8 plays and 46 yards to start this third quarter, with Carnell Williams' 8-yard run to give the Buccaneers the lead once again. Matt Bryant will be kicking off, and Courtney Roby back deep. It's a short kick, and Roby on the run from the 11. And good coverage downfield by the Buccaneers, led by Elbert Mack. Reggie Bush gets back on the field and will be back. Tampa Bay leading New Orleans 13-10, and the Saints getting the ball for the first time in the third quarter, and this is what this game is all about. Saints only 4 yards rushing, everything through the air. And for the Buccaneers, the other way around, 121 yards rushing. And the total yardage almost even. And even Jeff Garcia has chipped in with 43 yards running today. But the Saints will start from the 25, first down. Reggie Bush on the left. Tight formation for Breeze. And lofting it to Bush and overthrowing him downfield.
Well, the weather's obviously improved to the point. You can see Drew Brees has taken his glove off. Quarterbacks, as we talked about, it's dried up enough. They're going to be a lot more comfortable with throwing the ball down the field, which obviously lends itself to what Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints want to do. This is how they're going to win this game, is throwing the ball.
Two tight ends in Shockey and Miller for the Saints. And the wideouts line up to the right. Second down and 10. And Bush right there, and that's incomplete.
And that's less a function. That has nothing to do with the wet ball or the weather. That's just Reggie Bush just coming in off of inactivity for the last 4 weeks, wanting to take off. This is the second pass he has dropped. Very catchable pass. He's ready to take off. You can see his head's going to turn a little bit before the ball gets there, and that's what happens when you've been inactive for a month.
What about the moderation for Bush today? That was the plan from Sean Payton.
That's hard to do. You're in the spirit of the game right here. You need plays. You want your playmakers out there. The pitch count they thought they could have is gone away.
Third down and 10. And pressure on Breeze. He gets hit and goes down. Boy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line came in strong, and it was Greg White and Tenard Jackson from the safety spot. Loss of 8.
Well, Reggie Bush is going to read the protection. He's got to come over here and stop Greg White on the pass rush, and he's rusty here. Well, that's actually Rondé coming in on the blitz, so he gets there, and you know he wasn't sharp on the blitz pickup on that play, and it's difficult to get to Drew Brees. That pressure did get there.
First sack of the game by the Buccaneers, so Pakalak kicking, and on the run, here's Clifton Smith already in New Orleans territory, and he is put down at the 43-yard line by Troy Evans. So a 12-yard return off the 38-yard punt, and the Buccaneers in good shape. That sack of Drew Brees before the punt was only the 10th time this year that he has gone down. Last year, New Orleans had the fewest in the league. Brees went down only 16 times. And Joey Galloway, the veteran, who's been a forgotten man as of late for the Buccaneers, and the handoff to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn driving his way inside the 40-yard line on first down, picking up about 4.5 yards.
Now, this is like classic Buck ball type of football, and just grind it out. I mean, looking at Davin Joseph going up against the rookie Cedric Ellis here. Just double team right there at the point. They pull the off guard Aaron Sears, little power football. Make the Saints play run defense here, and quietly well over 100 yards rushing early in his third quarter.
And there's going to be an opportunity for a vertical here at some point, because the Saints cannot let the Bucs just shove it down their throat.
Second down and 6, a 4-yard gain by Dunn. And here is Garcia stepping up, and here's the shot, and the pass is caught. Antonio Bryant, touchdown! Coach, you were all over that one. On the very next play, a 39-yard touchdown pass. Garcia to Bryant.
Well, here's Antonio at the top. He's just going to run the post. Little double move, and they got it on Jason David. Harper was on the other side of the field, and Garcia didn't throw the prettiest pass here, but here he is climbing the pocket. We talked about this. Takes a classic shot right to the chest, but his eyes never leave the receiver, and a touchdown as a result.
And Matt Bryant looking to add the 20th point for the Buccaneers. And Tampa Bay leading now 20-10, and Coach Billick can rest his case the rest of the afternoon after that observation.
Hey, once in 10 years, even the blind squirrel gets a nut occasionally, right?
Third quarter, and the Buccaneers now have doubled up on the Saints 20-10. They have scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute and 38 seconds. Matt Bryant will kick off, and Courtney Roby standing on the 5. Good kick by Bryant, and Roby will down it there for the touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So a huge advantage for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Leading by 10 is almost like leading by double that amount.
Well, what you love is the way, and you expect it out of a veteran group like Tampa. New Orleans drives length of field at the end of the half. They've got the emotional edge in the game. They come back, and now two great series by Tampa Bay. They've got control of the game. Well,
they've controlled it by getting field position. On the return game, Clifton Smith has set them up. Defensively, 3 and out. The last series got them good field position, and then they capitalized on it.
And as good as the Buccaneers defense is, you can't sell the New Orleans Saints led by Drew Brees short. Deuce McAllister into the game for the first time. While we were in commercial, Jeff Garcia and John Gruden on the sideline.
Had a way to call one, Coach. Attaboy.
Meanwhile, on the Saints sideline, little different attitude.
It's Joe Vitt in the middle, the linebacker coach, assistant head coach, getting on his defense because 2 plays that are in the end zone, 2 touchdowns scored back-to-back. They got to come up bigger than that on the road in this division game.
2nd down and 7. Pierre Thomas is into the game, and the pass is batted down. Brees backing up, and it was Kevin Carter and Ryan Sims, and John Gruden told us the other day that somehow, some way, we've got to get in on Brees and make it tough for him.
Well, here's Gaines Adams going to come inside on Jamal Brown here. That's the quickest route to the quarterback. See that spin? That spin right there gets that hit on Drew Brees and knocks him down. And you mentioned he's a difficult guy to hit and a difficult guy to sack. But this is where Tampa's at their best. Backed up with the lead, with the crowd, and their ability to get after the quarterback with their front 4.
And is New Orleans going to press here a little bit? They got a lot riding on this series, this game.
Brees down on 3rd down, and Colston with the catch and ridden out of bounds by Jermaine Phillips. So just when it looks like the Saints may be beginning to wilt a little bit, Brees hits Colston for 16 yards and a 1st down to the 39.
And this is a 2-score game, so to build on what I was talking about, and there's no one you'd rather have under center than Drew Brees. But we said at the opening of the show, this is a must-win. I'm going to be interested to see if they press this a little bit and take a few more chances than he might normally take.
Colston 4 catches for 85 yards, including a 37-yard catch. 1st down on the 39. Deuce McAllister is in the game, and McAllister with the carry, and McAllister, who set a New Orleans record for touchdowns with his 54th on Monday night, gets 7 yards. Let's check in now with Kurt Menefee for a game break.
The team no one's talking about, the Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati, and here's the end around given to Mark Clayton, and he throws it. Wide receiver to wide receiver. Derek Mason with the score, and the Ravens have a 20-3 lead in the 3rd quarter. Don't forget, guys, they're already 7-4.
Mark Clayton's got a good arm.
You ever use that play, Coach?
He's thrown the ball for us. It didn't work, otherwise I'd still be there.
2nd down and 3. Brees on the slant completes to Devery Henderson, and a 1st down to the Buccaneers' 41-yard line, picking up 13. So the Saints are coming back impressively on this series.
And the veteran presence that we talked about that Tampa had to overcome the emotional burst that New Orleans had with the score at the end of the half, we're seeing that from New Orleans now as well. They're not panicking.
And to talking to Tampa's defense and Tamani Kiffin in the shot there, the thing you worry about the most is when Brees finds a rhythm, he's almost unstoppable.
From the 41, there you see 20 more passes than runs, and there is Drew Brees, and Colston again is there, gets hit hard, holds on, and gives the Saints another 1st down, picking up 13 to the 28.
Boy, Tampa came after him here. Here comes Jermaine Phillips coming on this play, trying to get an extra rusher, trying to discourage that rhythm that Brees can find. But when he wants to find Colston today, almost every time he's gone to him, he's been open and he's put the ball right on the money with him.
And Cato June provided the strong hit on Colston. And a 1st down for the Saints on the 28 of the Buccaneers. Play fake. And Breeze going short this time to Shockey. And Shockey dives forward to the 20-yard line, and it was Chris Hovan making the play, 8 yards on that one.
I'm loving watching this matchup between Sean Payton and Monty Kiffin. Sean expected some type of single high, stopped the run. Monty went into it too deep. He was still able to convert on the play. You've got two excellent coaches playing a real chess match right now.
It's really in the hands of those coordinators right there, calling the play on both sides.
Bobby Meacham lines up to the left, number 17, on 2nd down and 2. Breeze putting it in the air, and this pass in a crowd, and it's intercepted. Cato June with the interception off the hands of Jeremy Shockey.
It's no surprise that people are trying to.
And the Buccaneers take over on the interception, and it was Rondé Barber. It was really not off of the hands of Shockey. We're going to show you the replay after the first play, but Rondé Barber, who's been all over the field today, coming in to make a sensational play so that Cato June could get credit for the interception. Meanwhile, a first down at the 20 for the Buccaneers with about 4.5 to go in the third quarter. And Garcia on play action and trying to get away from McCray, but Bobby McCray gets him from behind.
Well, what happens, you've got two verticals from two tight ends set here, and what happens is Shockey's aiming point or benchmark should be the top of the numbers, and Ortega ought to be down the sideline. Shockey's too wide, Ortega's too far inside, allowing Rondé Barber to be a factor in the play. Neither one's wrong. They're both just a little wrong, which leads to one big mistake because it brings Rondé Barber right back into the play where he shouldn't have been.
2nd down and 11. Dunn. Warwick Dunn breaking to the outside and fighting his way to within 2 yards of the first down. Josh Bullocks, who had replaced Kevin Casebahorn at free safety, the stop.
Warwick Dunn is still amazing. I mean, it's 12 years in the league when the average career of a running back in this league is about 2.5 years. And not just he's out there, but he is still an extremely productive player. John Gruden calls him a warrior. He's all that, a team leader. And in this kind of game here, with the lead, second half, this is when he can really be at his best. He can really wear the clock down.
And when you've got leadership from guys like Warwick Dunn, Kevin Carter, Derek Brooks, what a great example for your young team. And they are a young team. All those guys talked about the excitement of the young players on this team. What a great mentoring that these older guys can give to this young team.
33-year-old Warwick Dunn, and a timeout called by the Buccaneers. Ike Hilliard at 32. They have a lot of guys 30 or more. Doubleheader, game 1, Falcons Saints, Eagles Giants next week on the Fox doubleheader. Game 2, a big one. The Cowboys against the Steelers. It all starts with the Built for Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
And you know, we're featuring some NFC East games and certainly some very good teams in that division, but this NFC South has been a great division since its inception. We've had a Super Bowl winner in Tampa in the first year. We've had Carolina go to the Super Bowl. Tampa has won this division 2 times. They've gone deep in the playoffs, and everybody's got a winning record in this division so far this year.
Top to bottom, Baldy, isn't this the best division of football?
Yes. I mean, everybody would be scared of New Orleans.
Yeah,
and they're at the bottom of this division.
3rd down and 2. After the timeout called by the Bucs. Garcia has it batted down at the line, so 4th down and a punting situation coming on. By the way, you guys were talking about this division. No team has successfully defended the NFC South title since 2002 when they went into the 4-team division, 8 division race, and the Bucs are looking to do it this year.
Well, not only that, there's an anomaly in this division that every team that finished last went on and won the division the following year, 5 years in a row. So will the Atlanta Falcons be that team this year to continue that trend?
Josh Bidwell will kick, and Reggie Bush back to return the punt. Sean Payton deciding that if there's a lot of yards to maneuver, Reggie Bush would be his man, and Here is Bush giving ground back at the 21. And the Buccaneers will close in on him, and he gave in about 10 or 12 yards. Jimmy Wilkerson ultimately made the play, and Josh Bidwell with high fives or low fives as he comes off the field. -12 on the return.
Rondé Barber can still get it done. I mean, he has defended some of the biggest plays in his game. That one down the field, this one almost got a pick against Marcus Colston. This one led to an interception by Cato June that kept New Orleans out of the end zone. Some huge plays from his pass defense today. The #2 pass defense in football going up against the #1 pass offense in football so far. Rondé and this defense is winning.
Pierre Thomas with a good gain on first down, getting almost 9 yards. Tanar Jackson making the tackle as we have 2:43 remaining. That was a drive, and it had to be a little discouraging for the Saints the last time they had the ball. They went 60 yards in 7 plays, poised to score before that interception. But that's what the Buccaneers defense is all about, and they try again here. 2nd down and 1. Ten-point lead for Tampa Bay, trying to go to 9-3. Here's Pierre Thomas, and he'll be close to the first down as we go down to the field and check in with Laura.
You guys are talking about the leadership of this Bucs defense with the Derek Brooks and with the Rondé Barber, and I think it would maybe surprise some people if you ask this team who's the leader of your defensive huddle. They all say immediately it's actually Barrett Ruud, who has really grown into his own. He's sort of the best kept secret in football outside of Tampa's huddle. It kind of started happening. They said they saw the change last year, kind of midway through when Barrett started coming on. He came in, called some plays tentatively, and Rondé said, "Put some baritone in your voice, son," and it's been his huddle ever since.
All right, Laura. So one of the younger defenders for the Buccaneers, and rolling out is Drew Brees, and on the run, pass caught by Devery Henderson, and Henderson just 2 yards shy of midfield, so the Saints continue to fight back. A 20-yard pickup there.
But I actually wanted to throw this ball short, I think, Coach. I mean, I think he was looking for the tight end here, and they were all covered. So he actually went short first and then went deep. And that's the outlet there down the field, Devery Henderson, so you pick up a big chunk, 20 yards.
And different people on boots like that. Some work vertical down, some work with what we used to call the frap and the over route, then to the deeper route. So it depends on the focus on the play.
I could use a frap right around now. First down on the 48, and here is Thomas. And Pierre Thomas getting to midfield on first down. And Barrett Ruud, who Laura was just extolling about, makes the tackle for Tampa Bay.
And that's the crowd yelling Ruud, not booing him. And Barrett leads this team in tackles by over 40 tackles. I mean, there's a huge disparity between him and Derek Brooks, #2, but the advantage he has is Barrett Ruud never comes off the field. He plays nickel, he plays dime, he plays all the sub packages. And this is the 2nd year in a row that he's led this team in tackles.
2nd down and 8. Here's Thomas. Fake pass, and Pierre Thomas may have the first down at the 42-yard line, and that may be the last play of the 3rd quarter. It is a first down for the Saints, trailing by 10 points. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Buccaneers 20, the Saints 10, and Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. And looking at the score by quarters, Garrett Hartley with a 47-yarder, and then in the 2nd quarter, Matt Bryant hit 2. And in the 3rd quarter, 2 touchdowns, including a big one to Antonio Bryant from Jeff Garcia. Start the 4th quarter, and Pierre Thomas on the carry.
You know, this is the most that New Orleans has tried to run the ball on any drive today. And I just feel, Coach, that Sean Payton right now is going, we need to get some balance here in this offense. We can't just let Drew drop back and throw it every down. It's playing into Tampa's hands.
Well, it's a 2-score game. So right now, points are at a premium, even touchdown or field goal. You're in the 4th quarter against the best one of the best defenses in the league. It's a 2-score game. You got to come away with something this drive.
You guys are right. They started at the 18, 5 runs, only 1 pass. And here is the 2nd pass, hopefully coming up, and it's caught by Billy Miller, and a first down at the 28, first down Saints. And right now, let's check in again with Kurt Menefee for a game break.
And we go to Green Bay, where the Packers are coming back against the Panthers off the play fake. Aaron Rodgers hooks up with Donald Lee. They get the 2-point conversion and have evened the score in the third quarter, all tied at 21. Back to Dick Baldy and Coach Billick.
Well, the Packers losing on Monday night, coming back home. A huge game for them in their division.
Well, they're trying to stay on pace with that Chicago and Minnesota, who are fighting for first place today, both at 6 and 5.
First down at the 28, and a penalty flag is down. A false start penalty against the Saints, and the Reigns have come back.
False start, offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
John Stinchcomb, the right tackle, so the Reigns were heavy in the first half, led up toward the end of the second quarter, and now the clouds are rolling in again.
I was just watching Sean Payton call that play. That's an awful lot to come through the microphone into Drew Brees' ears right there. The play, the reminders, the follow-ups, all the things that he wants him to be checking for on this play.
Buccaneers not been penalized today. It'll be first down and 15 for the Saints on the Tampa Bay 33. And Brees ran into his own man. There was a mix-up with Pierre Thomas in the backfield, and the pass is incomplete.
Drew Brees wanted this ball out quicker. He goes to reach up to get the throw, and Pierre Thomas doesn't get out of the way quickly enough and actually knocks the ball out of Drew Brees' hands. Totally upset the timing of the play.
And he threw a wounded duck. He never got his hands reset on the ball. You're right. He wanted that ball out fast.
And they were in at least field goal position to start this first down. Now they're outside of it. They've got to get back into a field goal position at the very least here.
And they got to do it with bad weather coming in. They haven't fared well when the weather has been wet. Second down and 15. And a timeout called by the Saints. That'll be their first timeout. We'll be right back. And we're back in Tampa. Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger, known as Baldy, the coach, Brian Billick, Laura Oakman down on the field. It looks like the rain may be skirting the stadium at this particular point. Drew Brees' rating was out of sight against Green Bay on Monday. Different story today. Looks at a second down and 15. Brees stepping up and against double coverage in the end zone, and the flag is down, and the pass is picked off by Tenard Jackson, but a penalty marker down at the 15. And a Thanksgiving week gift for a fan as Tenard Jackson gives him the ball, and Jerome Boger checks to see what that call is.
Well, Jeremy Shockey's indicated he thinks it's against Tampa Bay, and that would be huge. Because as we said earlier, this is a 2-score game, and to take away that scoring opportunity against New Orleans would be huge.
And I think Drew Brees got away with forcing that ball into double coverage.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 20, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Ronnie Barber, who has been a hero today, committing a penalty that will give the Saints an automatic first down. And the first Tampa Bay penalty of the day, guys.
Yeah, you know, that's huge. And it's frustrating as a coach. All the way the opposite of the play. You could make the case it had nothing to do with the play itself. But that's the rules. That anytime a quarterback is in the pocket, that kind of holding anywhere across the board is going to get called.
So a break for the Saints. See if they can take advantage of it. They're on the Buccaneer 28, first down. Still very early in this third quarter, and the pass off the hands of Lance Moore. It'll be second and 10.
It's the most frustrating penalty in all of football. I mean, Coach, you know this. I mean, Tampa did a great job of basically forcing a fourth down, field goal team coming on the field, and they get a fresh set of downs as a result.
And that's going to be talked about in the offseason. There are a number of people that feel like that automatic first down. Go ahead and penalize them 5 yards, but don't give them the automatic first down.
Second and 10. And up the middle, and caught by Marcus Colston. Colston, who had one catch against the Packers, and that for his first touchdown of the year, has an 8-yard reception right here. and going over 100 yards with 6 receptions today.
And clearly Drew Brees has found that comfort zone again in pressured situations, Baldy. He's pretty much gone to Colston every time.
Yeah, the only thing he has to do right here is just find him into the end zone.
And you would have to think it's 2 down territory, wouldn't you guys?
Well, but 2 scores, I don't know that you don't take that chance. You're going to need the 3 points in either way. I'm not sure that you don't kick the field goal here.
3rd down and 2. And the swing pass to Pierre Thomas. We won't have to argue this one. Thomas will score. Touchdown for the Saints. A 20-yard play on the swing pass. And the Saints continue to fight back and are doing it here.
This is the exact same play that New Orleans ran in the opener, all but to Reggie Bush to put the game away against Tampa Bay in the opener. Same play, just a little swing, quick swing screen with the tackle leading. Now Pierre Thomas makes this a new ball game.
Garrett Hardley looking to bring the Saints to within 3, and he does. As Tampa Bay's lead now cut to 20-17 with over 12 minutes to go in the 4th. On our pregame show, always interesting conversation on Plexico Burress and that incident when he accidentally shot himself.
As opposed to shooting yourself on purpose.
Clifton Smith on the return, and Smith goes down at the 25.
Most important play of that series was the illegal contact by Rondé Barber out here at left corner. Going to be a little contact here with him and Shockey right there.
Wow. I think Mike Pereira is going to get a very calm, demeanored John Gruden call on Monday.
You know, I think you should have coached the Ravens a few more years. I think you know, you had some great records. You won a Super Bowl and everything.
See, those are the kind of calls that takes a lot of money out of the coach's pocket.
That's exactly right.
Well, not quite talking about that. 1st and 10 at the 25, and here is Warwick Dunn changing direction and slipping down on the wet grass and being held to a 2-yard gain. And Baldy, you brought up an interesting point about how Pierre Thomas was the keynote of that last drive. Rushed 5 yards for 24, caught the 1 pass for the 20-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, almost 50 yards of offense on that drive, put it in his hands, and he was extremely productive.
And the pitch to Dunn. And put down at the 30-yard line will bring up 3rd down and 5. That was Cedric Ellis, the rookie from USC, and Garcia, 8 of 17, 93 yards. And the touchdown to Antonio Bryant that gave the Buccaneers a 10-point lead. Dunn with 60 yards rushing, and Clifton Smith with a big return game.
This kind of weather, this kind of field position has been so important. Clifton Smith has given this Bucs team a huge lift today.
3rd down and 5. Garcia pumps a couple of times and runs out of punts and loses the ball. And the Buccaneers appeared to get it first, but let's see whether it was retained, and it was by Jeremy Trueblood, the right tackle.
Well, Jeff Garcia has done a great job of taking care of the football, but probably hung on to this just a little too long, knowing how important this 3rd down was. That ball, Vilma strips that ball out. Of course, he forced a fumble in the 1st quarter, and Jeremy Trueblood from the right tackle position made a huge play in saving that field position.
And very fortunate are the Buccaneers. Only the 49ers have fumbled more times and lost more fumbles than the Buccaneers. Reggie Bush is back to return the punt, and a good high kick by Josh Bidwell. And Bush inside his 30. And down he goes. Great hustle that time by Adam Hayward. Bush has not been able to get loose on the punt return. Smiles in the rain here in Tampa. The Bucs leading by a score of 20-17. 1st down on the 17 for Drew Brees, who has completed 22 of 38 for 263 yards. And hands off to Deuce McAllister. And McAllister picks up about 3 yards on the play. Let's bring you up to date on this game. Rain, and we had heavy rain earlier. Breeze hit Lance Moore to make it 10-6 Saints. And Carnell Williams with an 8-yard run. Bucs took the 13-10 lead, and then the 20-yard, 39-yard touchdown pass to Bryant, 20-10. And the Saints drew closer as Breeze found Pierre Thomas on the swing pass. And the 20-yard score brings us up to date. 2nd down and 7 on the 30. Swing pass to McAllister. Upended, and Derek Brooks with a good defensive play, and like a frolicking colt out there at his age of 35. 3-yard pickup.
You know, the thing that makes Derek Brooks still so effective is his recognition and the instant recognition. Watch how fast Derek Brooks flies out here, sees exactly what this play is. Gets a little head start now. Now the angle is key. He can still break down, get underneath, and get a guy like McAllister off his feet.
Now Pierre Thomas is in the game at running back on 3rd down and 5, and Thomas in motion wide to the left. And Breeze going up the middle, and it's knocked down by Barrett Ruud, intended for Marcus Colston. Big defensive play by the Buccaneers pass defense, bringing up 4th down.
Well, one good play after another from the linebacking core of the Bucs. Here's Barrett Ruud coming out late to cover Marcus Colston man-to-man. That ball probably a little too far behind Marcus Colston, played into Barrett Ruud's hands there.
So Glenn Pakalak will be kicking, and Clifton Smith, who has well over 100 yards in return production today, is back deep. Another good kick by Pakalak. And from the 16-yard line, and a good return up to the 30. And that's where the Buccaneers will go to work. A 51-yard punt by Pakalak. We'll be right back. That's the Saints bench. Drew Brees with the visor on, and it looks like they're working on his helmet.
Working on the electronics. May not be as waterproof as you need it to be in this type of inclement weather.
Buccaneers from the 30-yard line. Hand off to Warwick Dunn, trying to go outside, but tripped up by Scott Shanley. No gain.
Yeah, this is your coach's worst nightmare. The bad weather. You got to come back from behind. Now your quarterback can't hear the plays you're calling. It's one of those, God, the football god's going to give me a break here today or what?
Hey, you want to get back in this race, sometimes you got to climb a steep hill. And that's what New Orleans is looking at.
How about this hill? The Saints entered today 0-16 under Sean Payton when trailing after 3 quarters. So they're looking for their first victory under Payton in a comeback situation, and they have to do it on the road. Here's Garcia on 2nd down and long. Ike Hilliard downfield, and it's knocked away by Randall Gay.
Well, New Orleans clearly now on a 3rd down. If Tampa Bay can convert here, it's just a shot down the rail. Nice job by Randall Gay, playing right on the hip, getting his hand up just at the last second to knock the ball down. But New Orleans has to take some chances here. This clock is winding down. They're going to leave themselves vulnerable on a normal down and distance to stop the Tampa Bay run if Tampa can convert on this 3rd down.
They're 2 for 11 this afternoon in these situations. 3rd down and 10. Here's Garcia stepping up, and his pass is knocked away, and it was Jason David breaking up the pass intended for Antonio Bryant. So they get the job done defensively, and now the Buccaneers will have to kick.
It was a very good series by New Orleans here because a couple of incompletions that stopped the clock. No first downs. Force the punt on this situation, and you give an opportunity to Reggie Bush, who's been desperately trying to make a play in the punt return game today.
And he's been giving ground more than gaining ground on those punt returns, Baldy. As Josh Bidwell in the air and gets off a poor kick and goes out of bounds. It's more of a hook than a shank, really.
That's a Reggie Bush effect, though. They were punting away from Reggie Bush and shanked it as a result.
They're going to spot the ball, and they keep moving up, and it looks like an 18-yard punt when all is said and done by the usually reliable Josh Bidwell.
Part of the problem in the first game, Tampa Bay was 2 of 12 on 3rd down in conversions. That's exactly where they're at right now. And certainly not converting on that third down, the bag punt has put New Orleans in a position in a 3-point game now to take control of this game.
Looking at John Gruden's expression with a sort of a sardonic smile. You must have done that a few times.
Satanic or sardonic?
Either way. First down at the 48-yard line of Tampa Bay. That's where the Saints will start, trailing by 3. Drew Brees with a pump fake going up the middle, and it's caught inside the 30. Jeremy Shockey with a big reception. And a 21-yard gain deep into Tampa Bay territory.
Well, Shockey goes in motion. He's on one side, Colston's on the other, and Brees fakes to Colston. Comes down the seam to Shockey.
And you can see the headset on Drew Brees isn't working because it's like college. He's having to go over and get the play directly from Sean Payton.
But he can make all the throws, can he?
Sure can.
First down.
I don't care who calls it.
Yeah, right. At the 27. Saints trailing the Buccaneers by 3. And the pass is knocked down by Greg White. Neither of these quarterbacks are exceptionally tall, Garcia or Brees. And White took advantage there to knock it down.
And there's Drew Brees going over to get the play again. Fortunately, they're down on that side of the field, closer to Sean Payton here, where he can get it and still have time to come back and call it.
And you practice your old signal system early in case the system goes down, and then it doesn't, and you get to this part in the season and you've given up practicing the signals, so you find yourself in a situation where, all right, we'll do it the old-fashioned way.
Second down and 10 with under 6.5 to go in the 4th. And here's Pierre Thomas trying to run. It does not fool the Buccaneers, and only a couple of yards on that one as we go back to L.A. for a game break and Kurt Menefee.
Panthers and Packers in a shootout at Lambeau. Jake Delhomme hooking up with his favorite target, Steve Smith. Smith brought down to the 1-yard line. D'Angelo Williams would take it in for a score, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and it's 28 all in the 4th quarter with just over 11 minutes left to play in regulation. Dick, Baldy, Brian, and Laura.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Panthers and the Bucs tied at 8-3 for first place in the NFC South. 3rd down and 8. And there's Brees going to the end zone, and it's knocked away. Double coverage on Colston with Piscatelli back there, who got a piece of it. And 4th down, the Bucs play it perfectly.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Baldy.
Very good coverage here. You know, Aqib Talib got beat in the first game on a touchdown pass by David Patton. It was his first game as a Buck, and he's gotten better. And there he is in good position to make that play, along with Sabi Piscatelli, who didn't play in the first game. So they have improved as the season's gone on.
43-yard attempt by Garrett Hartley to tie the game for the Saints. And Hartley's kick is good. With 5:34 remaining in the 4th, the Saints and the Buccaneers are tied at 20. And coming up after our game, it's the Fox NFL Sunday postgame show presented by AT&T. Will reveal the new BCS standings, changes to the BCS standings, and you're going to want to know what they're all about. Find out where each team ranks. You'll get highlights from all of today's action. The Fox NFL Sunday postgame show is coming up after the game. I have no idea what that BCS standing picture will be.
Well, they asked Bobby Stoops last night after he won that thriller against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma, with 1 loss, said he thought his performance over the last weeks speaks for itself. And it's going to be tough because I don't know how a computer can decide to separate all these 1-loss teams.
But the good thing is it's not just the computer. I like the check and balance of the BCS. It's not perfect, but you've got some of it's the computer, some of it's the coach's poll. So there's no one in this back room, smoke-filled room, deciding how this thing's going to go down unless they're a hacker and can get into that computer.
Well, but the other thing is it has been great discussion throughout the season about who should be in the national championship game. We want to talk about it every week.
And a computer will decide who will play Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma. Go right down on the line. It'll be interesting. So here's a kick by Hartley, and Clifton Smith will take the knee, and it'll be a touchback. The Bucs will start from the 20. And since the second touchdown for Tampa Bay, the Garcia to Bryant TD pass to make it 20-10. The Buccaneers have had 3 possessions. All have been 3 and outs, which is a testimony to the Saints' sometimes beleaguered and maligned defense.
It has been, and I think part of the reason is Tampa has not been able to generate the running game that they typically like to in that situation.
First down at the 20. Warwick Dunn. Well, just when you think he's stopped, he burrows forward for more yards, 6 that time.
And that's the type of run on first down where it's pretty easy to dial up another run and to keep it going and kind of play keep away from New Orleans here, trying to control the clock and the line of scrimmage.
Dunn with 63 yards, at 90 last week in the victory over the Detroit Lions. Remember, Ernest Graham out for the year was a huge force for the Buccaneers attack.
The way Garcia moves around, you don't have to call a lot of bootlegs. This might be a great place for one.
Second down and 4. And there's Garcia completing to Michael Clayton and out of bounds. Pushed by Randall Gay. And a big play. Boy, Garcia knows how to get nimble and free. 26 yards.
Well, here's the bootleg that the coach was just talking about. Just coming back out here. Gets set up in the pocket. Nice crossing route.
And these have been the kind of big plays that have been missing from Tampa. Last year, they were actually one of the better teams in terms of big plays down the field. I don't think they got credit for that. That's not been the case so far this year. That's a great place for a big play.
Well, their big play guy is Joey Galloway from a year ago. He's out there now in this position.
First down at the 47. And the give is to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn gets inside the 45-yard line. Galloway has had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, Baldy, but this year it's been a different story. Has only 130 yards in 12 catches.
Yeah, but you know, he's been slowed by a foot injury, but he's the type of guy that, if healthy, can give you a great lift on your offense when you're looking for more weapons and more ways to get the big chunk yardage plays to get him on the field now.
And the defense has to account for his speed, whether you're going to him or not.
Second down and 6. And Garcia looking to put it in the air and fires, and it's dropped. Joey Galloway was there at the 31, dropped the pass, bringing up third down.
Again, one of the few times today they had both Antonio Bryant, their leading receiver, and Galloway on the field together. Here they are. Bryant will be in motion. He's running the crossing route. Galloway gets the single coverage, man-to-man. Everything but the catch.
And the weather has been a factor, not in that case, however. The Saints receivers have dropped 7, the Buccaneers 2. Once again, a third down conversion situation. Garcia needs 6. And going deep and overthrowing Bryant, bringing up fourth down. So another good job by the New Orleans defense, stopping the Bucs when they had to.
Interesting call, or I should say interesting throw.
Yes.
I'm sure there were some intermediate receivers on a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6. But he liked the matchup. Obviously the size of Antonio Bryant down the field. When you look at a guy like Jason David at 5'8", you like that matchup.
Now Lance Moore goes back when it's a kick toward the goal line. Reggie Bush does not return the punts. Lance Moore does. And he's going to let this one fly. And it will go out of bounds. Did not go into the end zone, as Josh Bidwell, whose last kick went 18 yards, this one 37, but gets it done because it goes out of bounds at the 7. Well, this is where we started today. Carolina battling Green Bay, and the Buccaneers tied here with the Saints at 8-3, and New Orleans badly needing this game. 6-5 on the year, coming in having won 2 in a row for the first time this year, just 2 games out of the league.
And that's what the games come down to. 350, 4th best defense in the league, number 1 offense in the league. Let's see what happens.
Starting from the 7. 3:50 on the clock. Here's Pierre Thomas. Maybe a yard and a half. That's all.
You know, when we spoke with Drew Brees yesterday, we asked him, can you know a team better than you know Tampa? I mean, it's a division game. He's played these games before. They opened the season with this team. you know, there's nothing that Tampa can do in this situation that he hasn't mentally already worked his way through.
And it's that familiarity that makes this such a great chess match right now, because these are obviously all critical calls.
Well, we know the helmet's working now. As you can see, it'll be 2nd down and 9. Breeze with time and completes the pass to Billy Miller and close to the 1st down. Billy Miller, who caught a touchdown pass last week. And it is a 1st down for the Saints. A clutch 1st down to keep their hopes going here.
I would think Jeremy Shockey's going to start to show up here a little bit. Marcus Colston's been the go-to guy in big situations. The defense knows that. I'm sure they're in a mindset, we're not going to let Marcus Colston get a big play here.
You know what that means? He will be, because you've been right on the money.
Yeah, he's called a few of them. Here's at the end of the line.
From the 17, 1st down, and Drew Brees' pass intercepted. Jermaine Phillips.
They've gotten the ball to Marcus Colston now right in the middle of the defense a couple times here. You got to figure Tampa Bay was going to not let them get to Colston. Nice job of the secondary. Phillips recognizing what was going on, baiting.
They baited him.
Baiting Drew Brees into that throw.
They had the coverage that looked like it was designed to stop the tight end right there, or Colston right there. He ran out, and then Phillips came from the other side, and a real disguised trap on that defense called by Monty Kiffin.
Returning to the starting lineup after being inactive the last 3 games. Phillips with the interception, and here is Warwick Dunn. And right now the Buccaneers content to use the clock, and the Saints have 2 timeouts remaining in this tie game, and the Buccaneers in field goal position already, and the Saints will call a timeout, and they'll be left with 1.
Right now it's all about using as much clock as you possibly can. We just saw New Orleans, I should say just saw at the end of the half, them drive the length of the field for a score. You want to give them as little time as possible.
You know, the other thing is, Coach, right now, if you're New Orleans, you call a timeout on the next play, and then you get to maybe the 2-minute warning, force maybe Tampa to kick the field goal and get yourself as much of the 2 minutes as you can back to your offense.
Absolutely.
Right now we want to thank our technical and production crew for their work today in Tampa. Game being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Charles McDonald. Broadcast associate is Mark Schaefer. The technical producer is Bob Mueller. The tape supervisor is Michael Nathanson. The audio supervisor is Pat Lucatorto. And we'd like to wish our technical director, Rick Tugman, happy birthday. So following the timeout by the Saints, 2nd down and 10 on the 17 for the Buccaneers. And the pass incomplete, and it's picked off, or it's ruled incomplete, and it was Roman Harper who, on the throw attempted to the tight end Alex Smith, was starting to run it back, but it'll be incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Baldy, that surprises me a little bit.
That peculiar call.
Yeah, because now you had you run the ball, you would have forced New Orleans, and clearly they'd have used their timeout. I mean, they're in field goal position.
Sure, they already got the field goal.
And that one, I'm scratching my head at that one a little bit.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Ball on the 17. And here is Garcia, and Garcia is sacked. Back at the 21 by Bobby McRae. And the clock stops with 2:07 to go. And now it's 4th down, and Matt Bryant is on.
But one thing that New Orleans said is don't get behind the quarterback. Don't, because you're no good there. And that's why McRae was able to trap Garcia.
And they have rolled the clock, and it stops at the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remain in regulation. We're tied at 20. For the Saints, and fields it on the 9-yard line. Courtney Roby runs into his own man and is down at the 22. And that's where the Saints will go to work. Bush will be on the field, so will Breeze. Breeze 25 of 45 for 296 yards. has thrown 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and as you saw on the graphic, has engineered 12 fourth-quarter comebacks.
You love the matchups. Is there any quarterback beyond Drew Brees that you'd want in his hands? And defensively, who would you want besides Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks to be on your side of the ball?
There we go. We'll see which one can win out here. Drew Brees loves this. Won at every level.
And so do the Bucs defense. First down. Drew Brees wants to get a big chunk here, but Colston spinning around cannot hold on. He was wide open at the 37.
Now, to this point today, the Bucs defense has not allowed any balls to go over their head for a big play. That's what really plagued them in the game played on the opening week of the season. 3 of them over their head. So far, they've kept it all in front of them.
Saints have dropped 8 passes today. Some of them because of the rain. Colston wide to the left. Play action. Brees in trouble. Intercepted. Philip Buchanan picks it off. Gaines Adams putting the pressure on Drew Brees, and the defense having the upper hand here at the end.
Well, here's Gaines Adams underneath. He runs a twist stunt, and he never stopped coming. One thing he does, he plays hard. Got to the feet of Drew Brees.
You know, normally that little play fake that you do in that situation really does help protection. It gets your defensive lineman to pause. He wasn't pausing there. He knew there weren't going to be no run there.
Well, I mean, the twist stunt really helped too, because it got Gaines Adams on the run, coming up the middle clean. And really, Tampa here can just take a knee to win this game.
Sean Payton, 0-17 when trailing after the 3rd quarter. And the Buccaneers will use a timeout here. They know that the game is in their hands, barring a miracle turnover at this point. That's the 2nd timeout called by Tampa Bay.
So far, they've kept it all in front of them.
Saints have dropped 8 passes today. Some of them because of the rain. Colston wide to the left. Play action. Brees in trouble. Intercepted. Philip Buchanan picks it off. Gaines Adams putting the pressure on Drew Brees, and the defense having the upper hand here at the end.
Well, here's Gaines Adams underneath. He runs a twist stunt, and he never stopped coming. One thing he does, he plays hard. Got to the feet of Drew Brees.
You know, normally that little play fake that you do in that situation really does help protection. It gets your defensive lineman to pause. He wasn't pausing there. He knew there weren't going to be no run there.
Well, I mean, the twist stunt really helped too, because it got Gaines Adams on the run, coming up the middle clean. And really, Tampa here can just take a knee to win this game.
Sean Payton, 0-17 when trailing after the 3rd quarter. And the Buccaneers will use a timeout here. They know that the game is in their hands, barring a miracle turnover at this point. That's the 2nd timeout called by Tampa Bay, and a 23-20 lead. So,
and I don't, Baldy, I don't know what that says. I'm scratching my head. 0-17. Now, they're a good team. He's a good coach.
Right.
But what is it about? I mean, that's a lot. What is it about this team, their style of play, that would lend itself to that?
Well, I think the turnovers and the mistakes that they make at the end trying to come back in these games. We've seen it here today. The last 2 drives ended in turnovers right now. Or 2 of the last 3 drives ended in turnovers. And when you throw the ball as much as they do, a lot of bad things can happen.
Well, the Bucs won't face a better quarterback than Drew Brees, and they've done a good job as Warwick Dunn runs into the line, and the Saints, with 1 timeout remaining, have used their final timeout. Rondé Barber, big day defensively. Brees with 2 touchdowns, but also threw 3 interceptions. Colston over 100 yards receiving. Smith, a good return game. That was for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Yeah, it's a classic NFC South contest. You know, it's a playoff atmosphere here in Tampa where they're now going to be 6-0 at home. They stay on top of their division, and it's a great win. One of those wins, I think, Coach, when you go in the locker room at the end of the game, you're like, we earned this one. We played well in all phases of the game today against a good opponent, up against it. You can grow from this win.
1:31 to go, and the Saints can't stop the clock anymore as Warwick Dunn is down. We want to thank those who have helped us up in the booth and in the production truck. Our spotter, Chris Visser, our statistician, Rick Odioso, and in the truck, Mike Eldridge and Gareth Hughes, as John Gruden, who has won a Super Bowl as a head coach, will chalk up his 100th career win, and that is quite an achievement.
That is. I don't know, to a coach, that 100 wins, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. Just the fact that you can survive that long. 100 wins by John Gruden, 2 different teams. John Gruden is one of the great coaches in this league. And I will tell you, building on what you were saying, Baldy, this team knows how hard it is to win a game in the National Football League. They will be thrilled about this win.
And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who control their own destiny, they have the lead in the division, in conference and division play. They'll go 6-0 at home, 9-3 on the season, win their 4th game in a row, and they did it on both sides of the ball. And there's Sean Payton going out and shaking hands with some of the great Buccaneers. Tampa Bay will win it 23-20. The Saints will drop to 6-6, severely damaging their playoff hopes. So the final seconds of this game, and it was everything that was anticipated. A great duel between a terrific offensive team and a defensive stalwart club. And the Buccaneers beat the Saints 23-20. And we will return to Tampa after these messages.
Family Guy knows you can't get enough turkey.
Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. But bird's a well, well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird,
9/8 Central tonight on Fox.
The Men's Warehouse designer suit sale ends soon. This week, when you buy one designer suit, you'll get one free. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
The biggest event of the year just got bigger. The Toyotathon of Toyotathons is here, and you can get the deal of all deals on a new Toyota. With savings so good, it's easy to see why Toyota has the best overall value of any brand.
Now get 0% APR financing for 36 months on new 09 Corolla models with approved credit. That's 0% APR financing on the best-selling car of all time.
Don't miss out. Hurry to the Toyotathon of Toyotathons today.
Toyota, moving forward.
The Men's Warehouse designer suit sale ends soon. This week, when you buy one designer suit, you'll get one free. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Buccaneers beat the Saints 23-20, and now for the UPS leaderboard. UPS, what can Brown do for you? Jeff Garcia, all he did was do enough to get the victory offensively. Warwick Dunn with another tough rushing game, 74 yards, and Antonio Bryan 3 catches and the touchdown that put the team ahead to say. That's the story.